Okay, hear me out. I just had the pleasure of reading DC's new Absolute series. That's Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, and Absolute Wonder Woman. And I think my life has changed. I'll be honest with you. For a little while now, I've been trying to get back into reading more comics, but I've struggled with finding a series that isn't too already long on. That way, it's hard to kind of jump in and read 150 to 300 comics to kind of get a gist of what the story is. And been struggling with finding something fairly new in characters that I'm already aware about. There are a bunch of obscure different superheroes that I'm reading and different indie companies that I'm reading from, but I was itching to get back into comics like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, all these characters that I've loved, seeing them in different stories and different takes. So it was been difficult. But then I found DC's All In and DC's Absolute series. And I've really got to say, I think they're on to something here. Seriously. It's a different take on characters that you know and love. And yeah, they've been doing that for a little while, but this shit is, whoa. I was blown away immediately. If you're not reading the Absolute series, what are you doing? Once I read the first issue of Absolute Batman, I had to read the rest of them. That's issue 1 and 2 of Absolute Batman, 1 and 2 of Superman, and 1 and 2 of Wonder Woman. I had to finish them all. They were too good. With that being said, let's discuss DC's new Absolute series comics. When I think about Batman, I think about rich, handsome, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, Bruce Wayne, changing to Batman in the middle of the night to fight crime and save Gotham and all that good shit, right? I've loved Batman for such a long time because he's just a human going up against gods, effectively. Gods and crazy supervillains trying to save the city that he loves, right? Being an orphan and the Robins and all that good shit. I love Batman. He's probably my favorite DC superhero. But the craziest thing about the Absolute Batman is that it does something that I never thought to question. I do not want to give any spoilers to any of these comics because I really, really want you to read them. But the one thing I cannot let go that has affected me greatly about this comic, about this run, is that this Batman makes me reconsider how adjacent and far separated all the other Batmen feel to Gotham. Why do I say that? Because this Batman is a Batman who's not a billionaire. Guy's got no money. He's a street kid grown up in Crime Alley who grew up in the streets of Gotham City. His friends are the villains that we know in other Batman series. I mean, he's friends with Harvey Dent, the Riddler, Killer Croc, Oswald Cobblepot, like the Penguin. Like, he's friends with them. He's a street kid. That made me reconsider all the other Batman. This one feels like a Batman with a heart in the center of the city. It made me re-question, why does Batman do what he does for Gotham City to all the other Batman? Because this one feels like he's got real skin in the game. And I won't go into more detail about that because I want you to see the unveil, whatever the case. I want you to see why he does it. There's someone in his life that he's doing it for besides himself, and it's evident clearly. And the fact that Alfred is not his butler because he doesn't have any money is even wilder to me. Alfred is a fucking badass, and in this comic, Alfred looks even nuttier, dude. If I had to describe the comic as it is right now, I would say that it reads more like a darker Spider-Man series. It's almost like a Batman Spider-Man collab almost. It's weird. It's not fully there, but it's almost like that. It's the Batman that has real skin in the game, and I love it. It feels a little more genuine. I never thought I would say that for a Batman. This Batman grew up in Gotham. He studied in Gotham. He studied Gotham. He knows all about Gotham. And I didn't think that the way that they would write it would make sense. Genius level intellect. A fucking engineer. The suit is crafted and created by him. It's an origami cape that can collapse on itself to make structures and whatnot. It's nuts. How they continue on with it, I'm so interested and invested. I don't want to say any more because I really want you to get that same sense when you read it. Watch who the villains are. Watch how they restructure what it means to be a Batman in this universe. The last thing I want to say is that besides the actual story really taking a hold of me, the way that the artwork, the suit, and the character of Bruce Wayne and Batman look is insane. Batman looks like a bigger linebacker-like person, and it's evident by the fact that they referenced that he was a Division 1 star athlete. He's big. He's almost 7 feet tall, super broad shoulders. He's like a linebacker lineman mix. It's nuts. And the suit looks amazing, and it feels almost more alive. If you never read a Batman series before but know of his origins, you might question if Bruce Wayne was to really be written like this. Now, on to Absolute Superman. Here's the thing about Superman. I have a issue with Superman. It's a core thing for me. It's something that you're not going to change. It is what it is. I used to have Superman as my favorite character of all time. And then there was an incident that occurred. Superman chose Metropolis over his own wife. And ever since then, I've been like a Superman hater. But that's just me. This is, again, a story that kind of puts the core founding of a character kind of on its head. This is a farm boy, not from Kansas, but a farm boy from Krypton, from the Redlands of Krypton. This is a story about a Superman that knows of his Kryptonian parents and the lineage, history, and culture of his people. I mean, there's a lot to unpack with this story, and it really, really, really makes me connect heavily with this character as someone who is really passionate about their own culture. This is a Superman that knows of Kryptonian life. Like, he knows what it is. He was around it. He grew up with it. It's influencing the way that he interacts with the world because his parents were rebels, an engineer and an environmentalist. It's crazy. I haven't read an action comics, Superman comics that got me like this. I really, really connected heavily with this Superman more than I had with any of the other Supermen. I connected with him so much because I felt it. An alien in an alien world, he feels that. But at his core makeup, he's against anyone using the weak, the feeble. He knows of the issues of his species, of his world. And because of those issues, the caste system that they had, they literally let their world destroyed. And he doesn't want that for humanity. He's witnessed the destruction of his own world. He's witnessed it and its ignorance and caste system and how it has affected his people. They described him in the comics was a hippie with a cause. And that's kind of what it feels like. He's like all about saving the planet. Like, his parents were so big on preservation and the world around them and exploration and just the beauty of the world. And this Superman has taken those teachings on, and he really feels like like I said, a hippie with a cause. He's about showing love and loving things, and in the same time, he's really angered by the misuse of people and the manipulation of people because we've seen it on his own world. He's caring and yet strong when needed to be, fierce when needed to be. It's a really, really beautiful dynamic they ran here. Another thing is the suit. it's high tech as hell. So this is a Superman with a super suit, but they addressed it very early on that even though the suit is a super suit, high tech suit, I don't want to go into more detail. This is the year of the capes. The cape is very, very unique. It can even heal things. They made the distinction that the suit is super, but Superman is just as strong. He still has his powers. It's not the suit. It's just an add-on. And that's very, very, very cool because you can see that an entity that is directed directly from his culture, the suit, is the thing that he talks to the most because it feels like home for him. That's awesome. That really, really is. I think you can notice very early on that this is a Superman that's more of a super boy at the moment, trying to figure out who or what man he's trying to become. He's a lost boy. They've already made that evident. He's a lost soul, a lost boy, still naive in his head, but has many foundational core things that have been instilled in him that makes him the protective man that he wants to become. It's a boy trying to find out what man he wants to become. And that's beautiful. Now, on to Absolute Wonder Woman. The biggest of the changes, man. Be honest, one of my biggest issues I've ever had with Wonder Woman is that she has felt like an accessory to bigger heroes. And they've been writing her more as more of a focal point, more of a showstopper, more of a big deal, that she could do it on her own. This comic showed that. And yes, you can say, oh, well, she's at her own main titles. Yes, and they've been working towards getting her as a bigger focal point. But that was my argument for a lot of what Wonder Woman was she was always used as a pillar to bring in other heroes. And that sucks. Again, without spoiling too much, her biggest enemy is now her mother. And she was raised in hell. She's a Diana that connects both of the occult spell casting with the raw goddess Amazonian strength, love, caring, and compassionate being. It's beautiful. She's like a demonic warrior that has the most love and compassion. She can talk to all the animals of the world, and even the demonic ones that come to her with anger and fear. She quells their heart and makes them love her, essentially. It's beautiful. She's also drawn in a very, 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 very beautiful way. Her features are very Greek. I know how that sounds, but you have to read it and see the panels for it to make sense. She looks very Greek, and that's beautiful. They don't shy away from showing those features. Her suit looks like a mix of Wonder Woman with demonic essences. She flies and uses a flying skeletal Pegasus. It's fucking awesome. She's badass. She's compassionate. She's a frontlining hero. She is heroism incarnate. It looks and reads like one of those beautiful Lovecrafted stories. I have never been more excited for the following issue of a Wonder Woman comic. I'm so ready for this series in particular too. I think she looks badass, but it's almost like they were writing a feminine badass character. It doesn't feel like they stray away from anything that is both compassionate and yet strong. To close it out, if you're not reading DC's Absolute series, what are you doing? Go out and buy the comics, or go out and read them from DC's Universe Infinite. I'm telling you, go read them right now. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this series going forward and any future series that you have an interest in reading. I know that they're going to come out with an Absolute Flash and a potential Absolute Justice League, so on and so forth. What do you like about this series if you already read it? And what are you looking forward to from any series in both Marvel and or DC? Let me know in the comments below.